I want to start out, I want to introduce our chief, John Grasick. He's going to do some introductions real quick.
Good morning. My name is John Grasick, current chief of the Clermont Police Department. I'm glad everybody was able to make it here today. I believe you'll see the collaborative efforts of the departments and the different agencies involved and how we're able to bring at least some closure to this family by our efforts. In the room today, I have the Deputy City Manager, Dan Mathis, behind me. We have Chief Ogburn from the Ocoee Police Department, retired Detective Michelle Grogan, and then Captain Draper will be leading the ceremony, or the press conference for us today. I apologize. And I'll turn it back over to Malcolm Draper.
All right, so good morning. My name is Captain Malcolm Draper, and on behalf of Chief John Grasick, welcome to Clermont Police Department. I appreciate you joining us this morning. I'd like to take a moment and recognize the law enforcement partners again, Chief Ogburn of Ocoee Police Department, retired Detective Michelle Grogan, Clermont Police Department Deputy City Manager Dan Mathis, and Clermont Police Department Deputy Chief Michael McMaster. We are here to announce a significant development in a long-standing cold case investigation. As a veteran detective, I can tell you that this is the type of update every investigator hopes to one day deliver. Today we're announcing the identification of a previously recovered remains and the resolution of a case that remained unanswered for many years. This outcome reflects the coordinated efforts of multiple agencies and forensic partners. The original investigation conducted by the Clermont Police Department detectives in 2009 was thorough and methodical. The Ocoee Police Department provided critical investigative support. The medical examiner's office and forensic specialists applied advanced scientific techniques that ultimately led to identification. Most importantly, this brings long-awaited answers to the victim's family. Investigators began searching the area So roughly in 2009, our investigators made contact with city work crews. First off, I wanted to make sure like this here is a collaborative effort. This is a team effort between many different partners, Clermont Police Department and the Ocoee Police Department and the 5th and 24th Medical Examiner's Office. None of this takes place without teamwork and using advanced technology such as genealogy and DNA analysis to really provide closure. This is an example of law enforcement, really going back on their partnerships and using advances in technology to work cases and provide that closure to the family. Roughly in 2009, our city work crew came across some what appeared to be human remains. They were clearing off a newly acquired piece of land for a new park, and that is what is now Lake Hiawatha Preserve. That's at 450 12th Street here in Clermont. They discovered what appeared to be teeth and some bone fragments. They immediately contacted the Clermont Police Department. Investigators promptly responded, and the Clermont Police Department and the City of Clermont devoted immediately personnel to 24/7 security to preserve the scene and to contain the investigative area. From then on, our detectives, investigators, they searched the area. They brought many different partners involved, Lake County Sheriff's Office for our cadaver searches. Our detectives even constructed new equipment, sifters, to go through the area. They made contact with the University of Florida as well as University of Central Florida, their anthropology division, to really confirm what they were looking at was human remains or not. With that partnership, we were able to get a team of individuals from those two schools to come and help us comb the area. Ultimately, approximately 27 teeth were discovered, bone fragments, as well as some clothing, and Ultimately, we found what appeared to be a spent bullet. With this information, our Clermont investigators sent out a teletype to surrounding agencies, notifying them of the discovery of human remains just in case they had any cases that might match. Through investigative efforts, sending these bone fragments, we attempted to identify those bone fragments at that time in 2009. More specifically, it was Bode Technology, which at that time was a Department of Justice partnership for analysis. Fortunately, the case went the case went cold during that time, along with some periodic case review, follow up any tips may have come from that time until the present. Exciting news part. Fast forward to June of 2025, our Clermont Police Department evidence team was contacted by the medical examiner's office. They had the opportunity with advanced technology and some grant opportunities. They asked us to submit some of the bones for analysis. More specifically, it was DNA genealogy analysis. That is through a company called Ocoee. I anticipate maybe a question of what DNA genealogy, so this is strictly from their website. Genetic genealogy combines DNA testing with traditional record-based research to determine biologic relationships, map ancestral origins, and build family trees. By analyzing shared DNA segments, it identifies matches in database, often tracing ancestry back through many generations. June 2025, we provided the bones. Medical examiners picked up the bones. And then fast forward again to December 29th of 2025, we were notified by the medical examiner's office that the remains were identified by Ocoee as Ernest Joe Manzanares. At that time, Clermont Police Department investigators made contact with the Ocoee Police Department, as Mr. Manzanares had been entered by that agency as a missing person. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to retired Detective Michelle Grogan from the Ocoee Police Department for anything further on her end.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I started my career with the Ocoee Police Department in 2003, and throughout my time as a detective, missing persons cases have always been close to my heart. When I became a detective, I asked to work missing persons cases, even after I retired in 2023. I came back as a volunteer to focus specifically on our cold cases. Ernest Manzanares' case from July 1988 was our oldest missing persons case. Ernest left his family's home one night and never returned. His family has lived for nearly 4 decades without answers. They didn't know where he was, what happened to him, or if they would ever see him again. In January of this year, we were notified that skeletal remains recovered in Clermont were a potential match for Ernest's case. Throughout advanced forensic DNA testing, the match was confirmed. We are especially grateful to NamUs, Ocoee, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's FIG grant program for this critical support in confirming this identification. On February 6th, we received confirmation that the remains were Ernest Joe Manzanares. Making the call to Ernest's daughter Christina was bittersweet. She was grateful to finally have answers and to bring her father home. But like any child, she had always held on to hope that her dad might walk back into her life one day. After 38 years, Ernest's family now has certainty. They can lay him to rest with dignity. I want to thank the Clermont Police Department, the Lake County Medical Examiner's Office, FDLE, NamUs, and Ocoee. Today is about the Manzanares family, and it's about never giving up on a missing persons case, no matter how much time has passed. Thank you.
Yeah. I think at this time we'll field any questions that y'all have.
I'm curious, it says he left home and was never seen again. I mean, what more did the family need? I mean, they just,
I spoke to his mother early on in my investigation, and she recounted that the family was experiencing domestic violence. And Ernest drove in his 1976 Monte Carlo from Colorado to Ocoee, Florida, to live with the family. He convinced the father to move out and move in with an uncle. And Ernest later got word that the uncle and the father, who were part of a 1% motorcycle gang, were going to sell his sister and his niece into this 1% motorcycle gang. Ernest left that night from Ocoee, Florida, in his 1976 red Monte Carlo with his keys. He didn't take his wallet, he didn't take a jacket, he didn't take anything else. He told his mother that he would be back that night because he was actually looking forward to a dental appointment the next day. He had 4 impacted wisdom teeth. He said he was going to his uncle's house to confront his father and his uncle about selling his sister and his niece. And he was never seen again. And nor has his car been found.
so selling, I mean, I hate to ask you to be graphic, but selling his sister and niece, what do you mean?
I would think this day and age you would call it human trafficking.
Where
And-
is father and uncle now?
They are deceased.
Had investigators talked to them at the time?
They were, no, not in 1988.
They weren't considered.
And the mother did not share this story until I spoke to her in 2022. That was not in the original report. There had been some family goings on, and she wanted to clear the air.
I'm sorry to keep bringing it up.
It's
I just
okay.
want to get this straight.
It's okay.
Our victim had a father and an uncle.
Yes.
And they were in a motorcycle
Yes.
gang.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had told everyone they were going to sell. I mean, his father
Yes.
was going to sell his daughter
Yes.
and his niece
Yes.
to this motorcycle gang.
Yes. And they were 7 and 8 years old.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Ernest was he must have been out of his mind.
Absolutely. That's what his mother said. He's the oldest, and he was the protector of the family. And I also think that it should be noted that they are Native American. They are of the Navajo tribe.
Is there can you shed any light on why the uncle and the father wanted to do that? Sell this.
They were involved in criminal activity. What you would think of a motorcycle gang: prostitution, drugs, whatever.
So they were members of the gang?
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you, Michelle, as you stand there,
Yeah.
does this blow your mind?
It does, but being a police officer for 20-something years, I've seen it.
But I'm asking you as a
Yeah.
woman.
Oh, absolutely.
And probably a mother.
A mother, now a grandmother. Yes, very proud. Yes, as a mother and a grandmother, 2 daughters, 2 granddaughters. Yes, absolutely. As my daughter said, I would burn down the world for them.
But to think this was the plan, just what do you think?
Maybe there was pressure for, I don't know. I can suppose all day long, but I don't really know the end answer of that. I do believe that there might be family members out there who could hold that answer. So we're hoping through this press conference that family members might come forward and give us the remaining pieces of the story.
What's your level of certainty that his father and uncle had something to do with his death?
It's just the recount from the mother, and timeline kind of makes sense, but like anything, you work backwards.
Would they be considered persons of interest now?
I think it would be too early in the investigation to call them persons of interest.
How did they die?
The father in a horrible car accident, and the uncle, I believe it was medical.
Trying to understand the timeline, at what point did the case go cold? And so it was 2009 when the remains were found.
Yes.
When,
Can
how did
I
that?
answer?
Yeah.
At this point in time, this was a 1988 missing persons case from Ocoee. We have no indication to believe that any other thing happened in Ocoee other than a missing person. Any other part of the investigation, it didn't take place. We have no indication. So to answer those questions, we don't know. What I just want to step up and say is I appreciate the efforts that retired Detective Grogan, along with these other entities that y'all have heard today, the Clermont Police Department, the collaboration that we all made, because we know the technology was not of then as it is of now. So we are glad that we were able to bring some type of closure to this family, at least to know where he is. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, but we are just glad in the efforts to bring some type of closure.
How old was his daughter when he went missing?
2. And he also has a son.
So do we assume then that there's a bullet, because there's a bullet casing found, that he was shot to death?
We don't have the answer to that.
No.
Not all of his remains were recovered.
Michelle, did you say, he went missing, he was reported missing in
July 28th, 1988.
1988? And then these remains are found in 2009?
Yes,
And then his remains are identified late last year?
yes.
How did the family react when he was identified?
I've been in contact with Christina, his daughter, for years. We've been collaborating together. She has posted on missing persons sites, and she hoped that this day would come. So I had to call her when we suspected that it was Ernest, because we had to have Othram send a buccal kit directly to her, and she had to send it back to them. So she knew approximately 3 weeks before he was identified that something was in the process.
What did you say that was called? A bugle kit? And what?
A
can you
buccal,
explain
it's a
that?
buccal swab, just
Oh,
when they,
okay.
yes, yeah. But it basically collected her DNA, and it went back to, the medical examiner sent 2009 remains and her buccal swab, and it came back as a 1-to-1, 100% match. And it actually came back as father and daughter, which Othram said they have never seen that high of a match before.
How old was Ernest when he went missing?
23.
And when you said, he left his family to, and they thought he was going to come back. Who was the family in the house he left? Who did he leave behind?
It was his mother, his sister, 2 brothers, and then his daughter and his son. And then there were ex-wives and other relatives.
Did his family during all this time, what did they believe had happened to him? Did they believe he just run off? Or-
His daughter and son believed that he left and didn't want to be their father anymore. Yeah, they lived with that for almost 38 years. Thought that he went back to Colorado, but he was this close all this time.
And you had mentioned this was Ocoee's oldest missing person case?
Yes.
So what does it mean to you to bring closure to that finally?
It's amazing. It is amazing. When I called her, she was actually she lives in Texas. They were at their local DMV, and she had to get her husband out of line, and they went outside in the parking lot. And I knew it was going to be emotional, so I had our victim's advocate there with us. And Christina cried, I cried, the victim's advocate cried. I mean, it was bittersweet, again, because she always held out hope that her dad would walk into her life, but it also was some kind of answer for the family.
At this point, does the case end, or what's the next steps, I guess, in terms of this investigation here?
We had the component of the missing persons case. So that is basically the end for us, but I am more than willing to turn over any notes or anything that I have gathered to whoever is going to continue investigating it.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so we'll continue to work collaboratively with Ocoee Police Department and any other entities. At this point, we simply just have a small amount of human remains. We don't have enough human remains to apply any other testing to as far as causation of death, mechanisms of death, anything like that. So, but we'll continue to follow up on any leads that pop up. Like I said, at this point, we are, this is really like just closure for the family. You know, this is an amazing situation where I can't tell you, you know, as detectives, I've been a detective for a long time. It means so much to the family to provide this case closure. As the detective mentioned, they had the mistaken idea that he had simply left on his own accord. We don't know the circumstances exactly. We are dealing with stuff that we found many, many years later. But again, the highlight of this is just to provide case closure for the family and really to highlight the efforts of the Ocoee Police Department, Detective Grogan, and you know our units that responded on scene. There was a lot of really good, solid police work at the beginning of our investigation, and definitely with Detective Grogan's, and also to highlight the law enforcement just using solid police work, dogged determination, and using advances in technology to work these kind of cases, and just to serve the public better.
I'm sorry, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. Ernest's father
Yes.
intended to sell his own daughter
According to the mother, yes.
to this motorcycle gang.
Yes.
Were they part of the motorcycle gang?
Yes.
Okay. And then his uncle, was his uncle going to sell his daughter?
Yes.
And the father's daughter was how old?
They were 7 and 8 years old.
Was Ernest called to come back and try to stop this?
What the mother told me is that he got word that that was her exact words. He got word that this was going to happen. So he left the house in Ocoee that night to confront his dad and his uncle about that.
This motorbike group, does it still exist?
I prefer not to say. I don't want to bring bad vibes to, a motorcycle gang. That's not pretty, yeah, I prefer not to say.
Ernest wasn't a member of that gang.
No, absolutely not. No.
Did you recover the car?
No. No, we have not.
Is
And
it still entered if it's found somewhere?
actually, yes. Once we remove a missing person, everything that's associated with that missing person comes out of teletype. However, I worked with FDLE to have the car remain as a item of interest in a case, and it stays in there. So if anybody comes across the car, runs the VIN, it's going to come up with a notification through FDLE.
Are you able to speculate on what, did they kind of sell the car for parts potentially, or could it be in the Clermont area?
I have no idea. I've searched through all of the insurance bureaus and anything that would have to do with automobiles have not gotten a hit. And also to be noted, back in 1988, the VINs weren't 16 characters and specific to a car. They were 14 characters, and they were only specific to where they were made.
I think we're maybe take a couple more questions and
I'm sorry.
we'll wrap things
Do you
up.
know how much they were going to sell?
No.
Okay. I'm still trying to hear it. I'm just trying to get someone to respond. How disgusting is that?
Yeah.
Somebody step up to the mic. How disgusting is that?
Well, I think I can speak for law enforcement, detectives, officers. Nothing surprises the human nature, what may happen. We deal sometimes with the best of the best, sometimes we deal with the worst of the worst. So nothing really surprises. We run on information and facts. But yeah, does anyone have any other questions? I think we'll wrap it up. And obviously, we'll be available, through our PIOs, or many of you have our emails with any follow-up
We
questions.
get the spelling of the victim, or his spelling.
Do you have a picture of him?
We have one picture of him that was on his missing flyer.
I'll send it out.
Yeah.
There's one photo, it's pretty bad, but
Yeah.
I'll send you what we have.
Yeah. Ernest.
Chief,
Me? Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna throw it out. How disgusting is that?
Well, Michelle, I think you're asking a lot of questions about the investigations that we haven't even gotten to. Like I just told you earlier, mentioned.
Selling.
Well, we all are adults here. We're all humans. We have feelings. To want to sell your own children, yeah, that's horrible. That's not something that I could fathom, and I don't think anybody could fathom to sell your own children.